It was my 13th birthday. I wanted to throw a party, but I did not even have 13 friends. How does it feel to always try to just fit into the mold? Being an apple in the middle of oranges, being the odd one out. We all have felt that some or the other time. I remember my classroom. A big child walked up to me and boxed me on the face. I faced brutal bullying all through middle and high school. I could never fit in. I could never be one among the many. But what I did was, I did not let that stop me. Every time they tried stopping me, I did not stop. They laughed at me, I grew through the laughter. They tried pushing me down, I grew. They tried pulling me down, I grew. They tried troubling me, I grew. Every time they bullied me, I grew from the bullying. Every time they troubled me, I grew further. Every time they tried pulling me and pushing me and trying to put me down, I grew taller and better. Because the only person who can stop you is you. Today, each of us has resources to do just anything. Both my companies today are changing lives, revolutionizing the world. K-Star is changing the way independent e-commerce happens in India. And Comp Academy is changing lifelong learning for the whole world. So with K-Star, you can sell anything online in a matter of minutes. While with Comp Academy, you can learn anything new in a matter of minutes. And that's what makes each day beautiful. Doing something new, doing something beautiful, doing something that you haven't ever done before. Every time I look to my companies, I feel pride within of how a teenager's dream turned into a successful venture, changes lives. We've been able to impact millions and millions of people. And every time I see them, the pride within is what motivates me to go on, to do something, to change the world, to make the world a better place for everybody, to make the world a nicer place, to develop, to do my responsibility towards the world. And it is each of our responsibility to contribute towards a tomorrow. And today, entrepreneurship is unlike what it has ever been. It is above societal borders. It is regardless of caste, religion, place, and for my matter, age. Anybody, anywhere can do anything. Today, when you want to start a company, you do not need to open a factory. What you need to do is you need to open a laptop. Everybody has the same resources to do anything. Anybody, anywhere can start anything, can change the world. And that is what entrepreneurship of today is. It's above barriers. Anybody, anywhere can leverage the resources. And that is what 21st century entrepreneurship is all about. It's about every person, everywhere. To tell you a bit about my beginnings, I grew up in a very small city in the center of India, a city known for its massive lakes. We lived on a beautiful hill near the old city. And the fort house, when you climb up, beautiful, the proper small city vibe, like a wonderful place, very silent, very close to nature, but lacking in resources. I remember when my mom was looking out for schools, something which I've heard time and again, she was very apprehensive. She wanted to make sure that her child, that's me, shouldn't be left behind from kids in metropolitans who have the resources. With the internet coming in, she was scared that I'll get left behind in a small city from the world which was developing way faster. And that is, although Bhopal is a beautiful city, it was a tier 2 city and lacked resources. But what happened with me was, since I was a kid, I loved making stuff. Whether in 7th grade, I decided to make a robotic arm, or earlier I started working on remote-based controls. I always loved making stuff. I love making stuff, something which I can sit back and create and I can see the world use. I loved making things, making something which makes the world a beautiful place, making something. But thing is, we lived in a pre-Amazon era. So we lacked resources. If I wanted to make something, I did not have the resources to make something. We lacked resources. But that's when I turned 10 and I found this beautiful world on the internet. A place where you did not need all the resources of the world. You could create something without needing every small piece. You could create something beautiful in the click of a finger. And that's where the internet came into my life. I could create, I could develop, I could launch, I could change the way everyone did something. I could make something new. I could impact lives. I could make something beautiful. I could make something that would make the place a better place for everyone, everywhere, for generations to come. I could create, develop, and launch. And that's where my journey grew. Creating, developing, and launching. These are the 3 keywords if I had to describe my life in 3 words. Moreover, today, each of us has resources to do anything. And we must utilize it. In the past 4 years, I've been traveling around the world giving speeches at some of the best places. I've been writing an international best-selling book which was number 1 on the best-selling list for the United States, number 1 in Japan for small businesses. I've been running 2 companies, and here's the most interesting part. Attending high school. And it's boring. I'll be very truthful, it's actually boring. But you have to do what you have to do. But that is the part what makes it interesting. Every day, I can create something. And just the feeling that I can create something is what makes each day beautiful. Moreover, being a teenage CEO has taught me so much. It has taught me to get over limitations, get over factors, that nothing except you has the rights to control you. You decide what you need to do. And it's got me confidence. Being a teenage CEO has taught me more than anything ever could have. But so it all sounds beautiful. And that's how, like, a lot of people have often told that a 10-year-old decided to start a company and the company became successful. But there's way more to it. I remember when I started my first company, I had people underestimating me like anything. People were coming over to my parents and telling that your child is wasting time. That you should lock up your child in a room and throw books and just make him study. That he shouldn't be allowed to do anything but study. That a 10-year-old starting a company was ridiculous. And that is where the challenges come in. But if you believe in yourself, if you believe that you can do it, each of us can do it. Each of us has all the ability to do it. And each of us must believe in ourselves. And that is where the biggest part happened. I remember the first event I ever attended. There was this conference happening in Bhopal. When I was 13, I newly turned 13. I went with my mentor to this conference. And so the host walked up to me and said, "What's your child doing here? Where's dad?" It was a super technical conference. It was on IPR and ICT. I got to know the full forms only in the car. So that's when it came in. And I ended up going in the event as one among 500 delegates. But I walked out as a VVIP speaker. And that's where each day comes in. Because each day is beautiful. And if each day is not beautiful, it's our responsibility to make that day beautiful. We all face challenges always. Why? Because they're important. Challenges are necessary. Challenges are what make each day beautiful. But if challenges are strong, you are weak. If you are strong, challenges are weak. You need to every day wake up and say, every challenge that's going to come, I'm going to face it. Why? Because I have to face it. There's no other way. And that is where each day starts to get beautiful. Entrepreneurship is something that's got embedded in me over the past 4 years. I remember these challenges, and I look back to them today, and I dealt with them, and I take the confidence that came forward from dealing with them and go ahead and deal with new challenges. I remember this. So in India, we have these examinations. Any of you know about the board examinations? Okay, louder. For all the people watching TEDx at home, we need it louder. So these exams you needed to study for like 2 years. I studied for 2 months. Okay, now it's the second last examination. I reached home and I got this news. K-Star was hacked. My company was hacked. We were facing one of the biggest hacking attempts we'd ever faced. We were down. I was struggling between my second last exam and my company being down. These are the challenges that you face, but you need to deal with them. And I have a small tip for you. Once you deal with these challenges, they become so much easier than doing the repetitive homework. And that is where each day becomes fun. Facing new challenges, dealing them with everything you have, and facing them in a way that because each challenge would never repeat itself unless you don't deal with it. And you need to deal with it now. You need to make the most of it because each challenge is an opportunity. I moreover remember I often am in the car, I'm getting out of high school, and I wear an undershirt within my t-shirt. I get off my t-shirt, I put on a blazer, and that's where the second part of my day starts. The exciting part of a teenage CEO. I remember, so I had a couple of podcasts where I mentioned this, and it got me the pet name of Superman Entrepreneur. And the funny thing is I hadn't watched Superman when I was a kid. And after getting the pet name, I decided to watch Superman. And that's one thing I feel we all have in common. We all want to make the world a better place. And it is our responsibility to make the world a better place. Moreover, I'm often running for a flight, and my mom shouts out, "Son, have you done your homework?" And I have a secret for you. I have a big secret here. The answer is always yes. Regardless you've done it or not, if you say no, you're gone. So the answer is always yes. You've always done your homework. Regardless if you haven't, you'll be standing outside the class. So yeah, but the biggest problem I faced was balancing school and work. So I came up with this amazing routine. So what I started doing was I started waking up 4 a.m. in the morning. For a teenager, it's very early. It's very early. Some reaction. Okay, so I started waking up very early, and early morning I used to do all my Canada meetings until around 6 in the morning. And that's where my day got beautiful, because that's when I started working on my books, and I got into a suit. I love wearing blazers. They give me a lot of confidence. So for all my meetings, I try wearing a blazer, like I'm wearing now. And the blazer gives me a lot of confidence. And every time I put on a blazer, I feel like Superman. I'll be very truthful. And so I finish my meetings by 7, and at 7 in the morning, I get out of my blazer and I get into my school uniform. Okay, so now that just got boring. So I finish up with school, and that's where I often get this question again and again about balancing school and work. So I came up with this one-liner which I tell myself again and again. School is what I have to do. My companies are what I love to do. The passion I cannot live without. Moreover, every day starts with doing something new. And one thing I know today is I want to change the world. I want to make the world a better place. I want to impact every single person I can reach. And I know that for sure that I will do that. Because I want to do that. And anything we want to do, we can do it. As long as we believe in ourselves. Moreover, one thing I can say for sure today is I can say no. I can say no to the good to get the great. I can say no to the cliche. I know I do not need to adjust today. I can say no if I do. No, school says take every opportunity you get. I say no. Saying no prepares you for the best. It tells you that you shouldn't go for the second best because you can get the best. And that is where each day comes in. Moreover, one thing I know today for sure is I do not need to fit in. If I do not fit in, it is not wrong. I can stand out. I can be my own person. I can be my own self. I do not need to be one among 8 billion. I can be myself. Moreover, today, we all are entrepreneurs. Each of us is an entrepreneur, knowing it or without knowing it. Each of us is an entrepreneur. Each of us has to think of every situation as an entrepreneur. We have to deal with situations as an entrepreneur. Every time someone puts forward a constraint, don't accept it. Deal with it like an entrepreneur. Give it your best shot. We all are entrepreneurs. Choose to embrace it. As entrepreneurs, we have 2 goals always. Profitability and impact. Either earn $100,000 by charging each person $1 and targeting 100,000 people, or earn $100,000 by targeting 100 people and earning $1,000 out of each. The impact is different. The choice is yours. Thank you so much.